Okay. Okay. Right. So, have you had a chance to have a look at all the stuff? Good.
Yeah, I've made some notes.
Good, yes. So what we know is it's a level 1 awarding coaching.
Yeah.
I've done a level 2 coaching one, so I'm kind of familiar with it. It's very similar, except on the one that I did before, they had to actually draw up a lesson plan, whereas there's no indication and actually teach the lesson to the other participants.
Okay.
But there's no indication here that they have to do that, because it looks like it's more of a supporting role to the level 2 coach.
Yeah, it kind of highlights it's an assistant to.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
So I think in that sense it will be slightly easier in terms of sort of less practical, I suppose.
Yeah.
But if we just nip through what we've got to look at in terms of the role. So when we get there, I'll drive us.
Lovely. Thank you.
I'll pick you up. When we get there, do you want to be responsible for negotiating positions, or do you want me to do that, or we both?
Should we go and assess it and see in terms of what we both think?
Yeah.
Because obviously it's going to be quite a big area. So
I assume it will be a teaching room within the leisure centre. Yeah.
So we go and assess that first,
Yeah.
and then work that bit out. Do you want to approach the client, or?
Yeah, I think we should both go up to the client and just have a quick chat to him about expectation. I don't know him. I've heard he's a very nice man, that's all I know, and he's very keen on bowls.
Okay.
And obviously he wants to become a level 1 coach, so, but I don't know him.
You don't know a name, nothing?
No, and I don't know what he's kind of,
signing is.
Whether he's going to be a mixture of SSE, BSL, or, so I don't know that, but we can assess that when we get there.
Yeah.
And then, in terms of the working order, it's a lot of PowerPoints, so I think probably we're looking at 15 minutes each.
Yeah, I mean, as long as it's a comfortable interval, really, isn't
it?
So maybe we'll just go with 15 minutes and see where we are on that.
Yeah, and how do you, because I know he's probably not going to be participating much, although he'll probably be answering some questions, but I think some interpreters like one designated person to do the voiceover. I don't tend to work like that. I prefer if it's in your slot.
Yeah, I would just go with it. I think that's a bit more fluid to do it that way. So I'm happy to go with that. Obviously, if I get stuck, I'll lean in. And
I'm the same. I'll lean in if I miss anything, and then if I get something wrong and you say, "Oh my God, that's completely wrong," just interject.
Same
won't be offended.
Absolutely, yeah, that's absolutely fine. I've been told by other co-workers I've got quite a long time lag at points.
Okay.
So don't be scared if I'm suddenly not doing anything. I should
be
okay. I will lean in or go quickly look at you if I'm lost, but don't naturally assume that I've gone.
No, same probably. I'm just, and I think because there'll be less of that in a way, just because of the nature that it's going to be a bit teacher-led. Again, I think if there's any signs that I don't know, I'll lean in or something, or I miss something, because I think the acoustics in the room could be a problem. I think when we go to do the practical on the green bit inside, that could be more of an issue.
Yeah.
But just lean in, and I'll lean into you if I miss anything.
When they go and do the practical, there is talk about the coach standing with the bowler but then moving. Do you want us to separate and go one end of the practical to the other, so we've got?
What do you think?
I think that probably, depending on the acoustic, it might be useful to have someone down there just in case.
I can't imagine he can be that far away from all of the participants, to be honest, because they're going to struggle then to hear him, aren't they? So I would think he would be fairly close. So probably stand next to the coach, because it's inside. I think it would be less arduous. I have done the one that I did before with outside. It was really cold, and actually the other interpreter had to go in to a sheltered bit in order to warm up because it was so cold. I don't think that's going to be so much of a problem here. So hopefully, although I'm going to bring layers. And probably trainers actually.
Yeah, I'd bring
on
the surface. That might have some
change into it or something.
Yeah.
And it's over 2 days. Don't forget. So it could well be that there's more materials to come, or this is the whole lot that they've sent in one go.
Do you think maybe the second day is probably more practical led?
It could be. That was the last one I did was 4 days. because it was a
yeah,
level
okay,
2.
'cause it's a heavier course.
So first 2 days were much more teacher led, and then the last 2, as I say, but it was different because the client had to actually teach lessons and things, and they all had to take turns. So, and then that was much more arduous because it was hockey. So you were running around as well. So it was a little bit
it's
more,
not that.
Yeah, it's not hockey. It's a little bit more.
Yeah.
So.
You said in an email, or they corresponded with an email saying that on the second day that we wouldn't necessarily need to stay until 5. So
I think that's odd. All I can think is maybe it's a written test, but maybe they haven't understood that he's entitled to that access arrangement anyway. So I'll clarify that with the person who's booked us, and I'll get back to you. So
okay.
I'm sure I'll do that to clarify.
Yeah.
I'll let you know on that one. In terms of prep, I don't know an awful lot about bowls, but I think I have gone through the PowerPoint. I've gone through some terminology. Terminology gets mentioned.
Yeah.
So if we just quickly nip through the PowerPoint and then cover the terminology, which I googled. On the first page, for me, it was the role of a participation program facilitator, which in brackets they call deliverer. So I think we can just use that. The next page seemed fairly straightforward. Portray a positive image. I just thought I would use role model.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That.
On the second one, where it says provided by Bowls Development Alliance.
Yeah.
How would you go about?
Is that an organisation? Pre-planned sessions provided by the Bowls Development Alliance. Yeah. So it sounds to me like it's an organisation. Yeah. Okay. I mean alliance, but you qualify it as the organisation. And then code of practice.
Yeah.
So, code of practice. The others seemed all right in terms of rights, relationships, responsibilities. That all seemed fairly straightforward.
What did I do? Breakdown. On responsibilities, there's quite a lot of information there. It says to maximise the benefits, minimise the risk of bowlers, coaches must attain a high level of competence and qualification.
Yeah, so the first one, because then that aligns with the 4.
Yeah.
So then it's clear which one you're talking about.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Champion the rights of every individual. So how would you... Coaches must respect and champion the rights.
Yeah,
so champion, support.
Yeah, I think
not
individual. I don't think it would be that, because that's kind of... I think that might be confusing.
A bit more aggressive.
Yeah, because you're supporting them and sort of encouraging.
Champion, support.
Yeah, I think support, encourage. On page 3, respect inequality, diversity. That was all right.
Yeah, I hadn't put anything on there.
Cardiovascular system.
I just go. Usually, I've done it before, and I've just gone like pumping the heart and then circulating it around.
Yeah, I've got that now. And then they talk about safeguarding.
Safeguarding, I've seen 2 different signs for. So I've seen safe guarding or guarding. And is it safeguarding?
Yeah.
Which one will you prefer?
I do that one, safeguarding.
Safeguarding,
just in the context, our usual context in education, that's the one that we use.
Yeah.
And I think in terms of the content of that, we've both done lots of safeguarding training.
We should be okay.
So I think in terms of our understanding, it's the split, isn't it, between safeguarding and child protection, which again, and obviously they talk a lot about vulnerable adults, because in that context of that, there's going to be more emphasis on that.
Yeah. Vulnerable. Yeah.
So, nothing jumped out at me on this page.
The only thing that I put, basic laws of the sport, all coaches should have a good up-to-date working knowledge, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I just put, should we say, all coaches should know and be aware and have access to.
Yeah.
Just keep it.
Yeah.
Yeah, fine. Yeah, that was all that on that page.
On this one, under the PowerPoint slide for coach bowls, a coach should also be aware of the unwritten rules of the game, known as the etiquette of the game.
Agreed behaviour?
Yeah, I put that sort of behaviour points.
Yeah.
And then sportsmanship, I put sports behaviour.
Okay, fine. Yeah, because I just put sign question mark. Okay, sports behaviour.
That seemed to me to kind of, you know, cover it all really.
Yeah.
Sort of the way you are, and maybe, you know, yeah, that one actually. So sports behaviour, so how you show that.
Okay.
And
then, where it says courteous and considerate, polite and fair.
Yeah.
Just keep it like that.
Yeah.
Fine.
Respectful.
Yeah.
The courteous is what I would think.
Oh, you'd go courteous.
Yeah, courteous.
Not courteous.
Courteous.
Okay.
This one again, I don't think anything. It was all about accidents, wasn't it? This one and
it
health and
seems
safety.
Relatively.
Yeah, it's procedural, so it's fairly clear, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've got to do this. You've got to fill in the form and
Yeah,
record what's
absolutely.
happened immediately.
Yeah.
And then this one, just the 4 different ways of learning.
Yeah. Obviously visual, auditory.
Auditory, yeah. Reading and writing.
Yeah, reading and writing.
It's the kinesthetic.
Yeah.
So I put kind of practical, doing, showing. You know,
I wonder whether to finger spell it, because we just keep it as practical.
Yeah, because it's going to be up there, so I think you can point to it. You're going to be doing the 4, aren't you? So the 4th one, because it's all about, you know, those learners that like to, you know, touch and fiddle and do and participate, isn't it? It's
okay. On the first slide, when they're talking about effective communication, verbal, non-verbal, non-verbal, do we need to clarify what that means, or just say non-verbal?
Well, I think he goes on to give different examples. So I guess visual, you know, because you might be pointing rather than. I mean, I guess if the participant wants to clarify that then as well.
Maybe.
But I think if we say non-verbal, could be gesture, could be pointing.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Because actually other participants in the audience might not know the difference even.
No.
They might clarify that themselves. Lactic acid. I thought probably be finger spelling it and then talk about the fact that the muscles, or it can cause the sort of reaction that it causes when you get too much lactic acid in the system.
I was wondering on things like that, where we're going to give examples, how much time we're going to be given between slides to be able to give that feed. I was doing that sports course last year. We did do lactic acid, but I had to create the sign, and I think I just went lactic acid when muscles start to hurt with the exercise. But it's very brief. But it really depends on how quick. I guess that's controlling the presentation
and
as well, isn't it?
We could ask the presenter beforehand whether or not he's going to give, you know, sort of those kinds of examples as well.
Whether there's an expectation that they know that sort of thing. Okay. Yeah, that was all on that page. Yeah, same again on the next, actually.
Yeah, that was all fairly straightforward, wasn't
it? Shoots. Shoots may be necessary, talking about the planning activities and the equipment needed. Shoots may be necessary. So I'm assuming the shoot is literally like you get at the bowling, ten-pin bowling, and they just roll it down.
Yeah, so I'm in my head, it's sort of got sides, and you can
just
roll it down.
Fine.
Looking at that as a slide, there's a lot of information on there.
It's quite
I'm
heavy,
assuming that it's just going to be there and he's just going to pick, he or she is going to
assume that the audience is going to be expected to kind of point if they're unsure and everything.
And the tasks that follow, or actually tasks that run through it, I'm assuming they could be, the presenter might split them into groups, in which case then we'll have to sort of slightly change the way we're working in that sense. So
maybe one to sit within the group.
Yeah, and then still be conscious of the breaks and things like that.
Yeah.
It depends. I mean, it might be done as a whole because we don't know how many are participating.
No.
When I did the level 2, they did split into groups because there were about 20, 25 participants, so it was quite a lot. And that was it. The last page is just the address.
Okay.
So in terms of terminology on the top tips, how to coach a beginner, I assumed that this might be part and parcel of some of the tasks. There'll be, you know, but they talked about specific terminology, which made me Google it. So the jack, I didn't know that the jack was the ball.
Oh yeah, no, I knew that.
Didn't
Yeah,
know that. So that
and I was
shows you
thinking for
my.
a sign, usually, which may not be accurate, the jack's usually white.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe Jack.
Yeah.
But then.
Well, yeah, I think we finger spelled the jack. It's white, and then
Yeah.
we refer to it as the bull because the bull is there, and that's what they're aiming towards.
Okay, so
isn't
just
it?
refer.
Yeah, I think it's fine to say jack at the
Okay.
beginning, or maybe the jack and then the bull, and
then
place
from
it
there
like
on,
that. Yeah,
that's
because
there.
I read it was yellow or white, I think.
Right. Okay.
And then the bias. When I looked up the bias, I thought initially it was about the weight.
Yeah, I've noted weight load bowl.
But it says it's the shape of the bowl, and so
Okay.
it's the curve that it takes. So depending on the shape, it will either curve to the right or it will curve round to the left.
So if the flat of the bowl is on the right, then it will curve to the right, and vice versa.
That's my understanding. So it's the shape. So I think if we sign it the bias and then curve.
And curve it to that. Because they also talk about turning point of the bowling line. So that's on, it's 0.20 or something.
Right.
I think on that. Might be or PowerPoint 20. How do you want it? So when the bowl's bowling and then when it turns, that point. Turning point.
Yeah.
So I wonder whether those two, if we have to do that, or else they end up becoming quite similar.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Forehand, backhand. Forehand. You know, so backhand's like tennis.
Yeah,
so
it's going to be rolling it like that, isn't it? So you're
going
to hold the ball and then throw it.
Okay.
Presumably roll it that way.
Okay.
It talks about delivery, which I presume is rolling rather than delivery. A draw shot is a standard shot where players aim to deliver their bowl as close as possible. So I was thinking near roll, the nearest, if they use this terminology.
So nearest to the...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
the ditch.
Yeah.
Or is it ditch? It's not ditch there, it's ditch at the back, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's the gutter around the edge of the green. I mean, it could be anywhere around, I suppose. It's more likely to be there, isn't it, to stop it?
There's definitely a gutter at the back. Yeah, I'm not sure. Probably around the side as well.
The green they refer to as it being rectangular, so they call it a green rectangle. Yeah. And then heavy, when a bowl is unintentionally delivered beyond the target. So you've got your jack and it goes past. So I presume that's how we would sign that.
So unintentionally past one stake.
Yeah.
I know sometimes they put a heavy one at the back to protect it.
A jack high is when it's reached a position whereby its nearest part is laterally aligned with the jack. So presumably you've got the jack, so it's either there or it's side by side. It could be either way, couldn't it? It could align, because of the shape of it, it tilts, doesn't it? And then it might roll round. And narrow is when a player is insufficiently allowed for the bias. So it curves, there's the jack and it curves before the jack and it goes off. And then there's one later where it's gone past this one. So it's heavy, so it's gone past the centre.
Okay.
I'll photocopy this, shall I?
Yeah.
A toucher
is that when it's...
Yeah, so it hits it and then it gets sprayed, apparently. It's a bowl that touches the jack and remains in play, which is marked with spray chalk to signify it as being a toucher.
Oh, right, so it's touched and then whoever comes and sprays it, so they know. Okay.
Yeah, that's the one wide where it curves past.
Yeah.
So you've got a narrow and a wide.
A wide and a heavy seem quite similar then.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it depends on the client whether you use this.
But again, it's not very clear in here whether or not all of this terminology is going to be covered. But I'll photocopy that.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
I think we've covered everything in terms of all of that. We've talked about the time slots, haven't we?
Yeah.
And then I guess they did say food was available, but I think I'm going to bring
some just in case. I don't want to be caught without anything.
Plenty of water.
Plenty of water, absolutely.
Plenty of layers.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, great.
Great.